Okay guys, I decided to actually make a video about what we did yesterday for the percent proportion. Seemed like a good portion of you had a hard time with this concept from the other video I had you watched, which I did not make, so I'm going to make a video for you. Okay, so basically the percent proportion, we're applying the proportion which we've been learning to a new scenario here, and that is finding percents of numbers. Okay, and you basically have a setup, and that setup you're going to use each time is this: the part over the whole equals the percent over 100. This 100 always stays here. Okay, and I know the video yesterday kind of switched these things up. I thought it did a good job of explaining it, but I guess not. So anyway, here we go. So you are going to be identifying what these different numbers are, plugging them in, and then cross multiplying and dividing like you normally do with a proportion. So there's some keywords here. The word is, the number next to that, that's your part, okay? The word of denotes your whole. So if you see of, that means that's the whole number. And obviously the percent sign tells us that's going to be your percent, which will go there. Okay, so what we need to figure out is, if we look at this first problem, what we're solving for. And the way we do that is to look for our keywords. This first one says, what is 80% of 50? Well, I see my is and my of and my percent. Okay, again, the is the part. So what is, right? We don't know. There's no number there. So if there's no number there, that's going to be our variable. X, right? Then we have 80%, that's our percent, okay? Of 50 is our whole, okay? So our part is what's missing. So all we have to do now is just plug this stuff in, okay? So again, I'll do this. 100 always goes here, okay? 80%, the 80 goes here, okay? What, the part is up here, that's our X. The whole is 50, it goes right here, okay? Now all I have to do is cross multiply and divide, like we have been doing. Oops. Okay, I'll start here. I have X times 100, X times 100. Remember, that's going to be 100x, okay? Because if you have a variable times the number, that number becomes the variable's coefficient, or the number that's standing right beside it, okay? You want to move this over here. X times 100 becomes 100x. Then we have 50 times 80. 50 times 80, okay? That's going to be 4,000, right? Our last step, now we have a one-step equation. 100 times a number, x, equals 4,000. So we're going to divide. Okay. Dividing by 100 is pretty easy. We can just cancel out a couple of zeros here. And we're left with 40 over 1, so x is 40. Our part is 40, right? So 40 over 50 is equivalent to 80 over 100. 80 over 100 simplifies to 40 over 50. All you have to do is divide by 2. Okay. Second problem. Second problem says 22 is 50% of what number? So 22 is, again, is means our part. That's our part. We have that number. 50%, that's our percent. And then we have of what number? The of is attached to a phrase here, what number? We don't have that, so that's going to be our x. So our whole is our x here, so now we can set it up. So 22 is, 22 goes over our whole, we don't know our whole, it's going to be x, equals 50 over 100. It's 50%. Now we can cross multiply and divide. Okay? I'll start at the top here and I'll multiply. So 22 times 100 is 2200. Okay? Equals 50 times x is going to be, or x times 50 is going to be 50x. Remember, the 50 always goes before the x. okay? We go through, we divide both sides by 50. Now, don't be confused. I know my x term is over here now, but that doesn't change anything. You're still having to get x by itself, so we're going to do that by dividing both sides by 50, okay? Divide by 50, that cancels. 2200 divided by 50 is going to be 44. So 44 equals x. That is our whole, okay? Or you can write it this way, x equals 44. Okay. The third type of problem you're going to see, or maybe saw on the assignment, is having to find the percent, okay? So we have 37 is, remember this is our part, what percent of 111? Well, so the of, that's our whole. What percent? It doesn't give us a percent. So x is going to be our percent. It's going to go where the percent would go, okay? So we have 37, that's our part, over our whole of 111 equals what percent? X over 100, okay? Now we cross multiply and divide again. I'll just start at the top. 37 times 100, 111 times x. 37 times 100 is 3,700. 3,700. 111 times x is 111x. Now our last step is to divide, because it's a one-step equation. We divide both sides by 111. And we're going to end up with a slight decimal. This ends up being 33.3 repeating percent, basically. So x equals, when we divide through, 33.3 repeating percent, okay? It's 1/3, basically, okay? So you're going to have three types of problems. 1, solving for the part. 2, solving for the whole. 3, solving for the percent. You look for your keywords, and then you plug everything into your proportion here, all right? And then you solve like we have been solving. So now I want you to go back to yesterday's assignment and take a look at it again and see and correct it, or try to redo it if you need to.